Today I want to share with you 10 things no one ever warned me about when becoming a mom. These are different things I needed to learn or have learned or just general takeaways from my experience thus far as a mom. So going into motherhood, I actually felt really overprepared. My mom ran an in-home daycare, so I've been around children my entire life. From there, I was often a high school babysitter, and then I actually, after college, decided to nanny for 9 years now. I've been around kids all the time, but having my own was still different. It was harder than I truly expected. Parenthood comes with its ups and downs and such, but overall it was harder than I thought it was going to be. I think I went in overconfident. I had changed hundreds of diapers versus some parents go in changing their own child's diaper as their first. I thought I knew more than I did, I would say, if I'm being honest. And these are 10 realizations and things I have learned along the way. And I just want to share them and see if any of them resonate with you. Number one is, how hard can motherhood really be? No one fully told me this. Obviously, people say, oh, it's harder than you think, but I think you don't get it. No matter if they warn you or not, you don't get it. And like I said, I think I was overconfident and I struggled with my first. When I was home with them, I felt like I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't unload the dishwasher. I couldn't take a shower. I couldn't do anything. I held them a lot, which is great. Of course, cuddles are wonderful, but I felt very out of sorts. With my second baby, I did much, much better. I was much more confident in myself and comfortable and capable, I would say. Number two, breastfeeding and just a general lack of practical knowledge. I don't think we're raised how people were before, in the sense of, I feel like women just talked about things like that, or maybe there was somebody in the town that was like your tribal medicine woman or something. My mom breastfed us, but I still went into it knowing nothing, basically. And I actually made the effort and took the time to watch a lot of YouTube videos and learn a lot about breastfeeding before my baby came, because I think you're also not taught or explained that you only have so big of a window to teach your baby how to breastfeed, and you teach yourself and understand it before they're taking a bottle, and you kind of missed your window and it's gone. So I actually wrote down a list of notes, tips, tricks, and reminders before I had my baby. That way that I had this go-to cheat sheet for myself, essentially. I thought that was very valuable, and I thank myself for doing it, and wish I would have learned more just from my community and friends around me. And I really didn't, but it's okay. It worked out in the end. Number three is the overwhelming commitment. So when you get married, it's a huge commitment. You have this partner, but they can feed themselves. They can put themselves to sleep. They can take care of themselves. It's a commitment, but it's not the same. When I had a baby, it was a full-time commitment. It was, I am responsible for this little being, and then I breastfed, and then it was, I'm responsible for their nourishment, even more on me versus my husband couldn't do that, obviously. So it was just such a commitment. And then I also got to the point where my baby refused bottles. It happened with both my kids. This is because I directly nursed them. They were with me 24/7. And so they got to the point where then I couldn't get away from them and have those breaks. So it was just a huge commitment. Being a parent's a huge commitment. Breastfeeding is a huge commitment. And there's just this sense of lack of freedom. And honestly, sometimes I felt very selfish because I missed that freedom. I missed being able to just walk out of the house with nothing and go run to the store. But now I need a kid and a car seat, and do I need to take anything with me, and just items and stuff and gear and preparation. And maybe I don't need to take anything, but I still need to work around their nap schedule, and just my life was no longer my own. Part of that's just learning it. It's the learning curve. I'm not saying that's wrong, but it's adapting to it, growing and learning how to accept it and make it a part of your life instead of ruling over your life. Number four, I would say it's that you're always on. You mentally don't entirely ever get a break. Once that baby is born and they are your responsibility, I have a hard time turning it off. And maybe that's something I need to work on. But when I'm without my kids, say I'm home alone, somebody is still watching my children and I'm still thinking about them, worried about them, or say I'm doing something and they're in the care of a babysitter or they're at daycare, those people can call you with questions or say, hey, they're sick, come pick them up. So it's even when you're off the clock, you're not off the clock. And then I think as your kids get older, I don't think it's going to go away either. I think when you have adult children, you still worry about them and you're like, hey, do you need help with this? Or, hey, can we come over and do this for you? Or then you're a grandparent and you're still I want to see the grandkids, or I want to do this, I want to do that. I think it doesn't ever go away. I feel like in a sense, I was me before I had children. And then after I popped out that first baby, it's I never get to go back to who I used to be. And that's okay. And that's a good thing. But it's crazy. It is truly life altering. And I don't think I fully understood the weight of it until I had my own children. Number five is the unbelievable love and joy of parenting and how much you just love your stinking little kids. I mean, it's the baby giggles. It's the newborn scrunch people say. It's them when they're a toddler backing into your back and reading books. And they talk. Oh my goodness, toddler talking is adorable. And it's also like, sometimes you see other kids and you're like, they're not the cutest, or they're kind of annoying. But when it's your own kid, yes, they can be annoying and they can frustrate you, but you also just love the crap out of them. And they just do the cutest little things. And it's crazy how much you can love your little kiddo. It really is. The sixth realization or thing that I learned is that some days are harder than others. And obviously, yes, that makes sense. But I mean, you can do the exact same steps and one day goes smooth and one day is a total disaster. You might have morning routine. You do the same morning routine every day. But one day your child throws their plate at breakfast, or they dump their bowl of oatmeal and your kitchen's a disaster, and then you're behind your schedule and you're off your routine, or you get an Amazon package and they happen to ring the doorbell right at the beginning of 1 o'clock nap, and your day is just a disaster. You can have the same routine, the same schedule, and the same child, but yet that day can be totally, totally different. And just the like unpredictability kind of, and the lack of control at times over your day and your life can be kind of like a crazy feeling. Number 7 kind of goes along with that, and it's that external factors hit harder. So an example of an external factor is it's raining. On a rainy day, I'm not going grocery shopping. Even if I like to go on Mondays, I'm probably not going if it's pouring down rain, because guess what? I have groceries to unload and a toddler to buckle and unbuckle and this and that, and it's just too much. I don't want to go during the rain. Whereas when I was single, I might have done it because I can get in that car so fast and load groceries and unload groceries so fast, it's not a big deal. Okay, a long commute. Say I'm on the interstate and an accident occurs. I used to just be frustrated, be like, gonna get home late, or really want to get in home and start making dinner. Now I either have a child at daycare, so I am scrambling to get to daycare pickup on time because now I'm stuck in traffic and now I'm stressed. Or I have a child in the car with me, and now I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're going to lose it. Or they have a soggy diaper. I know their diaper's getting wet by now. Or, oh, they pooped. I can smell them, but we're stuck on the highway. Or they're getting hungry and fussy for dinner. Like, small external factors used to be a bump in your day. Now they lead to much more stress, maneuvering, and factors in consideration in your day, and cause a lot more problems. So a difficult day can be 5 times more difficult when you have children. Number 8 is that parenting is a million little choices. I think I never really put thought into this. You don't just pick a parenting style and say, I am this parenting style, and then you just say, I'm going to do it. And every single day you nail it, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing that parenting style. It's not that simple. Like, parenting is a million little decisions. It's every single day, every single moment, honestly. It's the tone you talk to your children. Did I read enough books to them today? Am I creating the relationship I want with them? It's honestly kind of crazy how all these little like micro decisions create your relationship with your child and who your child is ultimately. So it's like the weight of it, but it's also these tiny little things. And in that moment, you don't feel the weight, but after the fact, say you just blew up at your child and yelled at them. After the fact, you're like, oh my gosh, am I really damaging our relationship? And is that how I want to teach them to talk to others? And you have all this like reflection, and it can feel heavy. It can feel heavy at times. So realizing that parenting isn't just making these big one-off decisions, it's a lot of little decisions daily. Number 9. So my 9th realization is to not use your children as an excuse. Now, a lot of these points I have made come off somewhat negative or have some negativity associated with them. And I'm not trying to say kids are this negative, awful thing. But people can look at it that way. You can look at your kids as your excuse of, I don't have enough time, I don't go to the gym, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't take care of myself, I'm not maybe happy. And that's just going to make you resent your children. Your children did not ask to be born. You chose to have those children. You chose to bring them into this world, and it is not their fault that now you're busy caring for them. So we need to make sure that we are not resenting our children and using them as an excuse for what we are not accomplishing. You can get things done. Find a gym with a daycare. Find a friend and take turns watching each other's children. Do the things you want to do. Teach your children how to play more independently. Give yourself some of that time back. And now, obviously, life with children comes in phases. Their newborn phase. You might not have time to work out because you are sleep deprived and you are prioritizing sleep over fitness. That is okay. But as your children get older and they're playing outside, if you're choosing to sit down, that's on you versus get up and do some squats, run with your kids, play with them if you need to do that. Basically what I'm saying is don't use your children as an excuse for anything. I used fitness as my primary example, but don't blame it on your children. There's the same amount of hours in a day for everyone, and you can accomplish a lot if you find ways to work through it and find ways to manage it with children. Number 10 is that it is their day too. So there's been times where I have been like, I need to accomplish this, this, and this in my day. But what about their day? It's their day too. What do they want to accomplish today? Do they want lots of snuggles with mom or story time? Do they want to go outside and play even though you want to mop the floors? It's all about balance and trying to figure out how I can enjoy my day and they can enjoy their day. It's compromise, it's balance, and instead of both of us being miserable, let's see how we both can be joyous and enjoy that day. I saw something on Instagram recently, and it says something along the lines of, it might just be a normal day for me, like it's just a plain old Tuesday, no big deal. But that Tuesday was one of their days of their childhood. And all those days that makes up their childhood and what they look back on. I love my childhood. I look back on it so fondly. And I want them to do the same. So create those little like magical moments and foster that beautiful childhood. All right, so that is my list of 10. And I don't say these 10 things to scare you about having children. I think it helps you set expectations and have some realizations of what it's like and roll with it instead of fight against it. I would say with my first child, I fought against it a lot. I had the pity parties and the resentment and again, just fighting against it. I can't get anything done. I can't versus I can and I will. And moving forward and finding success with your children, adjusting to your new life with them instead of trying to keep your old life before them. Now, if you're a new mom, pregnant, expecting, or just have a little baby, maybe you're an older mom and you just needed this video as a little bit of like a reset and a refresh. Regardless, as parents and mothers, we should always be growing and learning and trying to just do better and see what we can do to make our children's lives better. So keep growing and evolving. If you want to comment below, what things like realizations have you come to as a parent or in the near future of parenthood? And what things have you learned if you already are a parent that no one warned or prepared you for? If you like content like this, check out some of my other videos. I will link them in the description. I also have a guide, the Mama Get Your Life Together guide, where I talk about 4 different pillars of the home and managing your home. If you're interested in that, you can check that out as well. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching this video.